At Pretty Purposeful Events, event planning meets social impact. We plan, we host, we build community. Grounded in service, guided by values. From youth empowerment events to community outreach, we create spaces that bring people together with purpose. Let's create something purposeful together. Pretty Purposeful Events is based in Atlanta, Georgia, proudly serving nonprofit and community-based organizations nationwide. Virtual services available. For more information, visit us online at prettypurposefulevents.com. Living life intentional, just in case you didn't know. Pretty purposeful, pretty purposeful. Pretty purposeful, pretty purposeful. Pretty purposeful. Tired of wasting all my life, think it's time I get it right. Tired of wasting all my life, think it's time I get it right. Tired of wasting all my life, think it's time I get it right. Welcome back, Purposeful Family. I'm your host, Angie Melange.
And I'm Candace.
Y'all, we are at episode 3. Can you believe it? I hope you guys have been enjoying this season so far. Candace, episode 3. We're already here.
We're already here. And I'm excited. I am super excited about this one.
Yes. So, Purposeful Family, and those of you who are new to our community, thank you so much for subscribing, for watching and supporting. We greatly appreciate it. This theme for this season, as you guys know, we've been focused a lot on, how we move forward with everything going on in the world, in our country. We just really want to make sure that our episode topics this season are relevant and purposeful. And so we're really looking forward to getting into this episode today. But before we do, as always, I got to see what you've been up to. So Candace, what you been up to?
Girl, I have been tending to my plants. You remember the last episode I showed you me starting the whole, my little garden. So yes. I have a little buds coming up, a little sprout. So check this out. There it is. As you can see, they're little babies right now, but I cannot wait until I think it's going to be about 30 to 60 more days before they actually fully develop into, some greens that I can enjoy. And of course, Midnight had to get up in there.
I was going to ask you, how has Midnight been?
Spoiled.
Girl, the fact that Midnight is still hanging around, oh my goodness. Is she letting you like pet her now or pick her up?
Like a little better. She's gotten a little better. So I can actually pick her up and have her on my lap for maybe 5 to 10 seconds. And then she's like, no, I'm for the streets. I don't cuddle. I don't do that. She reminds me very quickly.
Yes, but that's one thing about cats, that they're not needy. So, she might be feeling like you're trying to take her independence or something.
I think so, because I'm telling you, it's gotten a little better. Like, she might stay on my lap for like 5 seconds, but anything longer than that, she's like, hey, I ain't about this lovey-dovey cuddling stuff now.
Right. One day I'm gonna have to see Midnight in person. I'm gonna have to come through.
Yes. I can't wait for you to meet her, but it's gonna take probably you coming over for a month or so. But she wasn't. I had my little cousin. He was probably 6 years old. He's 6 or 7. Midnight wasn't fooling with him.
Really?
She has to get comfortable. So if you come, you're gonna have to come about 5 more times and feed her, and then she'll think, okay, I can trust you.
Wow, that is so interesting. Cats are just, I've been considering getting another cat, but my cat Hammy, he passed away. It's been over a year now, and he was definitely a part of our family for 14 years. So I do miss his presence, and even though he wasn't very needy, just, the things that cats do, I have to say, man, they're just beautiful creatures. And yeah. So I don't know. Midnight, I might be a cat whisperer. I don't know. She might take to me. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, I can't wait for you to meet her though. She just gonna have to get some time. She's gonna have to get used to you, because she a gangster. She not too friendly.
I don't know, Candace. Now I got a little history from the streets now. I got a little street cred.
Woo! Angie. Yes. Oh, I did the speech.
Oh, yes. Oh, did you capture any footage?
I did. It was so awesome. Here it is.
Please welcome Miss Candace Major.
The road to success isn't linear. It's bumpy with unexpected turns. What matters isn't avoiding those bumps, but how you navigate them. Believe in progress. Never settling for good enough. Believe in yourself and believe in passion. Putting your heart into everything you do. Every industry represented here today is transforming. Don't fear that change. As you move forward in your careers, remember that technical excellence matters, but so does human connection. I look forward to seeing how each of you graduates make this world a better place. Thank you and congratulations, Lincoln Tech class of 2025.
Girl, that was amazing. You look beautiful. You sounded great. And I'm just excited for you. I'm glad you got that opportunity. And I look forward to hearing more details about just the whole, experience from beginning to end. So congratulations again on that milestone. That was major. You guys, anybody looking for a speaker, definitely hit up Candace. If you, need her to come out and speak at a commencement ceremony or a panel discussion, she definitely has the skill and the will, and she's ready to go. So that was amazing. Thank you for sharing, girly.
Thank you. That was remarkable. So how have you been? Any updates, honey?
Girl, so this time of year, looking at my calendar and planning some traveling soon. So looking forward to sharing my travel adventures with you all soon. But nothing to share as far as that at this point, just that I am looking at my calendar, I'm blocking off time and planning some travel. Aside from that, an update that I have is that our merch is available. And this is actually a sample tumbler. So you guys, those of you who know, oh, you got yours too. Yes. Cheers. Look, cheers. You guys, our tumblers are available. And this was just a sample. I wanted Candace and I to get it so we could see it, feel it, see how great it is as far as keeping beverages hot and cold. And y'all, this is great quality. The design was designed by yours truly. But of course, the two people featured there are me and Candace. So yes, you guys, if you want to support the podcast, this is a great way to do that. And again, like I said, great quality. Keeps your cold beverages, is it 24 hours for the cold and 12 hours for the hot? It's just amazing, you guys. And so if you're looking for a way to support, and if you're a coffee drinker, tea drinker, heck, you could even put water in here. It's going to keep it cold. Check out our merch on our website, prettypurposefulpodcast.com, and you can click on merch and support us, you guys. We appreciate you. So that's what I've been up to. I've been sipping from my new tumbler. I'm going to go ahead and get into this episode because you guys, we have an amazing guest with us, and I'm so excited for the conversation we're about to have. Before we do dive into it, I just wanted to share some information with you all, some factual information. So recently, there's been over 30 states that have proposed legislation that could affect how we vote. Okay, underscoring the importance of us staying active and united as a community. You guys may have recently heard about the SAVE Act. Okay, that is aiming to also affect the way that we vote. It is going to actually create challenges for us. Essentially, the SAVE Act is aimed towards suppressing voter rights. So we're diving deep into the importance today of building community and connecting with one another as we are facing these different challenges, especially when it comes to like voting. This is the time for communities now more than ever to be connected, to be informed, and to be moving collectively on one accord. With that being said, Candace, we've got an incredible guest here today who's going to share her insights with us on how we can strengthen our community collectively. So, Candace.
Yes, I am super thrilled to introduce this awesome person. Joining us today is Dr. Charlene Henry, a phenomenal woman whose journey from Philadelphia to Florida spans over 4 decades of remarkable achievements in community transformation. Dr. Henry's academic credentials alone are awe-inspiring, with 2 associate degrees, a bachelor's, 2 masters, and a PhD. But her impact extends far beyond the classroom. As a licensed ordained apostle overseeing churches across 3 continents, a playwright, author, and an independent filmmaker, Dr. Henry has dedicated her life to discovering hidden talent and nurturing authentic expression. The mother of 2 has faced life's deepest challenges while creating profound opportunities for others. Her community advocacy work through initiatives like Suitcases for Dignity, Hope for Homes, and Parents Night Out has touched countless lives. With over 40 years of experience mobilizing communities, Dr. Henry has mastered the art of empowering individuals towards self-sufficiency. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Dr. Charlene Henry to the Pretty Purposeful Podcast.
Woo!
Bring her out, bring her out.
Bring her up, bring her up. Welcome, Dr. Henry. Welcome to the Pretty Purposeful Podcast. We are so pleased to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation to come and hang out with you 2 wonderful women. I'm excited to be here with you all and just looking forward to our time together today. And hello to all of the viewers. And I hope that everybody is going to be inspired, encouraged, and touched and challenged by our conversation today. I am from originally Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Philly, Eagles fan all the way. And so I now am a Floridian. I've been here for 12 years and I still go home a lot, miss home. My heart is still in Philadelphia. And so I'm actually very honored. I'm honored to be able to work, not just here, but all of my life. I've moved around. I've lived in various states and various cities to help people because it's all about helping people. And so I am just excited about just life, even looking at what's going on right now. I love the name of the broadcast, that there is purpose, because there's purpose for all of us. And despite everything that's going on in the world, there's still a way. There's still measures, there's still strategic planning and things that can happen that can really change your life. I love the topic. No one is coming to save us, because I have, as you said, spent 40 years plus, because I grew up in the church, much like you ladies. So we were taught coming up in the family that it was all about the greatest leader being the greatest servant. And so my life has been framed around, if you want to be great, be the least among them. If you want to advance, be the least among them. They always say the squeaky, the person with the most noise, the squeaky wheel gets all of the attention. That's not so. They get attention, but it may not be the right kind of attention. It may be the attention that lasts, is temporal. You get that for what you're, going for, the clamoring noise that you're doing. But then when you look at it at the end of the day, is it meaningful? Is it long lasting? Is it a temporary excitement and joy because I got it. And then when you wake up the next day, it's like, okay, now I'm chasing something else because that wasn't really meaningful. It brought the accolades and the pats on the back from people. So we were taught coming up that, make sure that everything you do is purposeful. Make sure that everything that you do is intentional. Make sure that everything you do is relevant. Make sure that everything that you do is not about you receiving, but in fact, y'all, she already said I'm a preacher. So a little bit of the preacher might come out today, that we are not only impactful, but we're relevant to the times that we're living in and to the people that we're speaking to. And so my dad and mom taught us to never be selfish about ourselves. In fact, funny story, but true story. And you ever have those things that traumatize you and they follow you all your life? So
yes.
There was 10 of us in our family. So my mom and dad and 8 kids, 4 boys and 4 girls. We were the house that all the guest preachers, when they came out of town, came to the Henry's house, because my mom was a dynamic cook. My dad was the head deacon in the church. And so there were times where we would sit down at the table for dinner and the doorbell would ring and it would be some guest that, you know what, I was like, how come the guests always knew to stop over at dinner time? Always showed up, y'all, at dinner time.
At dinner time, ready.
I don't know what it was. And you know what? We were taught we had to push back from the table and give up our plates and give up our seats, because they taught us about being hospitable. They also taught the principle. Now, that sounds kind of cruel. They taught the principle that it's more blessed to give than to receive.
Amen.
Okay. And so, and yes, those kind of things kind of traumatize us. At Easter, we always had to make all the Easter baskets, and we had to put all the jelly beans in the baskets and stuff. And we took them to church, and then my dad would tell all 8 of us, y'all get out of the line, get in the back of the line. And if it's anything less, then you would get it. And sometimes many Easters, we didn't get anything. Was we mad? Yeah, we was mad, girl. One year I was so mad, I stole some jelly beans while I was putting them boxes together. I was padding my pockets with some jelly beans, okay? I was about 8 years old. I was padding my little pants pocket with some jelly beans. Now listen, we lived in a row home in Philadelphia. You know, homes are attached, okay?
Yes.
we going up the steps, and we didn't have carpet on the steps. We had wood steps, and I didn't know. I forgot that the pants I had on had a hole in the pocket. So I'm running up the steps, y'all, with my jelly beans in my pocket, and I'm like, because it's 8 of us, so I'm getting it from my siblings too, okay? And I'm not the oldest; I'm the middle of the 8. But I those ahead over me and my younger siblings under me. I was like, y'all gonna get some jelly beans today. That was my mindset. Girl, I'm running up the step, and them jelly beans come out of my pocket. They come bouncing down the steps. my dad says, "Who is that?" And I never could lie. I said, I got beat for those jelly beans, but my dad had to laugh after that. But
you was Robin Hood.
Okay.
But nobody was coming. Nobody was coming to save us, y'all. They wasn't coming to give us no jelly beans.
No.
but even in that, I took the heat.
Yeah.
So that my sisters and brothers could have something. And that's what real community is about. Rocking the boat.
Yeah.
Taking the heat. Being willing to step out. Coming up with your ideas, and also not being so possessive that it's mine, that I can't share it for the greater cause. It takes a lot of trust. It takes a lot of, because we've all been burnt in life. I'm sure the viewers, you that are watching, you've been burnt in life. You're like, well, I gave ideas. Sometimes you might have brought more money to the table. You brought your ideas to the table, and people just seem to, because there's a lot of takers in the world. Yes. They take. So that's something for us givers to learn. We got to learn balance. When it's okay to say no, when it's okay to say I've given enough, and to see what other people are bringing to the table. All right. Don't be such a giver that you give everything and then you leave yourself depleted.
Yes, right.
You have to have balance. You have to have wisdom. Y'all see, I'm a great old head lady. Okay. So I'm talking from wisdom. I'm talking from understanding and knowledge. And even in our older age, for our older viewers that are out here, don't shut up your bowels of compassion. Still give, but give with wisdom. Young people give, but give with an understanding. Share what you have, because truly it's going to take a community today to really help us make it. As you look in our government, there are things that are trying to be stripped from us as a people that our forefathers and foremothers fought for us to have. The right to vote. Right. Whether you believe in abortion or not, forward or against it doesn't matter. To have the right to make a decision about what you want to do as far as your body is concerned. I know that's kind of weird that the preacher's talking about, hey, if an abortion is what you have to do, that's what you have to do. Just like in church, we don't like to talk about mental health. I love God, I serve God, but honey, all of us gotta get crazy. Okay. But we have put the stigmas on certain things that if we talk about, I'm depressed or I have a mental health issue, that, something's wrong. And so we cover it. We're notorious for wearing masks. Ooh. So we got to take the mask off as a community too, because when we start facing where we really are, then we'll start making progress. Yeah. So we stop fooling ourselves about where we are. Then that's why we're stalemated and we're not moving forward, and we're not, even among us in the Black community, we have the haves and the have-nots, because we have not learned yet how to truly be a community. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't believe in throwing anybody under the bus, but I'm going to say this. There are people that are, they have great wealth, that are African Americans, whether they are actors, actresses, TV personalities, ball players, and fall under line where you may, comedians or whatever. It puzzles me how, as a Black community, why are we still suffering in the United States when there are so many of us that have a lot of money, that can actually purchase land, acres of land, and do our own housing. Acres of land and build our own hotels, acres of land and do our own business centers and entrepreneurial centers. You don't hear enough of those things among us. We have foundations, and some do have nonprofit organizations. Some do. Some of them are giving a lot of money to, and doesn't mean Africa doesn't need it, because I have missions in Africa. We have churches in Haiti that we support. But I'm noticing that systemically we give a little bit more out of the country than we give to us inside of the United States. Yeah. And so we have got to learn as a community how to share the wealth. We are some of the most selfish people. We don't want to tell people the secrets. Yeah. We don't want to tell people how to do it. If I found something, it's like, I'm not going to tell them, because then they might get it all. And then when I need to go back and get it, it's not going to be any for me. Wow. See, if we would come from out of this selfish mindset. Yeah. Okay. I grew up in a time, and maybe some of you are that are viewers that are listening too. I grew up in a time that on our block, everybody on my block knew each other. We knew our neighbors. You can go next door and get sugar. You can go down the street and get. You can go 5 doors.
Babysitters.
Bread. You had babysitters. Okay, which is why we had our program that we started, Parents Night Out. I saw a necessity when I was living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There was a necessity because a lot of parents were at wit's end. They were single parents. Even if they were married, the economy was such. Now imagine, this was about 14, 15 years ago. So the economy was a lot better then. So, but look at the economy now. I can't afford to go to a movie. I can't afford to go to an opera. I can't afford to go for a theater production because of the economy. I can't afford daycare. I cannot afford a babysitter. If I want to do anything, I just need a break, and I don't have it. So when I saw that was a need, I started Parents Night Out. And Parents Night Out was simply us coming together as a community. If you had children, all we asked you to do was sign up and say, I'm in exchange for you having a night out for free. There was no charge. We didn't charge anything for this. You could bring your children on a Friday night and drop them off. And we kept them all through the night, overnight, until Saturday morning. If you wanted to go home and just sleep because you was tired, you could do that. If you wanted to go to a movie, you could do that. Couples, husbands and wives needed an out, you could do that. It was absolutely free. We bring their sleeping bags. If you didn't have them, we provided with blankets. We gave them food, snacks, movies. They had sleep time. I mean, we did stories. Now, who ran this? The community. Because when it was not your weekend to go out, you were the babysitter.
Right. Yep. Exchange of time, labor of love.
We exchange time. So we talk about resources, because there are ways to do things with the resources that we have if we would just be a community. Okay. Right. Now I did have safety measures in place, because you had those 1 or 2 special people that would have their nights out and they would never show up to babysit. Okay. Well, I had it in the agreement that you signed that if I did not show up when it was my time, except for some extenuating circumstance, that you could never bring your kids back to this program again. So you had to weigh out, was that one night and you not showing up worth you giving up all the other opportunities that you had to have nights out? I put the choice and the onus back on them.
That's right.
And I tell you how that blessed people. I had people that said, you know what? I just wanted to sleep. I wanted to just take a bath without worrying about what the kids was doing. The house was going to get burnt down. Right. I got some Calgon, take me away time. Okay?
Calgon.
Yeah, I'm going to date myself to a lot of my.
I love me some Calgon now. What's it? Morning Glory is my favorite one.
And I just wanted to have some. I just wanted to watch a movie. I wanted to put the TV on without interruptions, and changing diapers. And we took them from all ages. And that program was so successful. And we had single parents that said thank you, men who were raising their kids that said thank you. Okay, and that was just a small way of us coming together as a community to become the babysitters. And then let's look at the day now. You cannot trust putting your kids everywhere. Yep. You cannot trust all the daycares that you put them in. You don't know what these teachers are doing in the school. We have so many different teachings that it's okay to be this and that. And sometimes they teach against your values and your morals. You got to be careful about that. Everybody has a right to be and who they are and what they are and how they want to be. But you have to protect your children. Okay, because there are a lot of pedophiles. There are a lot of stuff that's going on in schools and on the buses. And there are kids that Sandy Creek. If you remember Sandy Creek, you send your kids to school, and then we got these guns and all of this stuff coming up in the school, and then your kids don't never come home. You know, there are things that we need to do as a community to not just have these kind of programs, but to protect our children. I came up in the day of, you know, when the Black Panthers was coming up, we came up where we also had the Guardian Angels. We had community brothers that got together and formed their own Osage Avenue. Okay, I could call.
I've read the stories. Yep.
Okay. They got together and they were the street patrol people. The police wasn't doing it for us. They didn't come to help us. Okay. Imagine they wasn't doing it back then. Look at what we are in right now.
Yep.
They're not coming to help us. But where are we where we will mobilize together and say, we will come and be your security. We will come and make sure that you're okay. We'll be security at our schools where our kids is at, especially now. This world is so on edge with the racism and the prejudice that's going on that you're afraid to send your kids. You become even afraid of your neighbors because you don't know who's for who believes in what. So, you know, it's so many areas where we can really mobilize as a people to make not only a difference, but to provide security, to provide resources, to provide funding, to I don't know if they even do it anymore. The think tanks. We used to have think tanks where we would all come together and sit around the table and we would brainstorm a problem and come up with solutions on how to fix them.
Yeah.
Okay. The Bible says that I have given you the ability to create wealth and I give you witty inventions. The three of us ladies on here should be able to sit down and brainstorm. All of you listeners that are watching, you viewers that are watching, find those like-minded people who think like you, feel like you, act like you, have a passion like you, who's not, listen, be very, 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 very discreet about who you connect with, because there are people that just want to drain you and take
your resources.
They want to drain you for your resources. They want your information. They want your knowledge, and they they act as if, but they are really opportunists.
Yeah,
they're opportunists.
Yeah.
They are not really your friends. They're not people that you really need to connect with. They really want to come and take from you. Okay. But there's enough among the three of us on here today, and where you are, you have people that are in your inner circle. Let me say this too. If you don't have people in your inner circle who push you, who challenge you to do better, challenge you to go after, who encourages you to say, girl, you can do it, even though, young man, you can do it, even though that seems far-fetched and impossible. You don't need them kind of people around you.
Yep.
You need the people who are going to tell you, girl, do it.
Yep.
Go after it. And I got you. And
Yep.
not just in word, but in action. Because there's enough of us to sit down. We need to go back to that day of the think tank where we would sit down and say, okay, let's talk about some systemic problems that we're dealing with as a Black community, and let's put our brains together. And listen, social media can be our very best friend.
Yeah.
But we can have a international and national, I mean, a whole think tank across the United States where we're all tackling one problem and coming up with a solution.
Absolutely.
If we would utilize the tools that are now given to us, instead of, I don't know about y'all, but I'm so sick of getting on Facebook, and all I'm seeing is everybody's posting all the fights and everybody getting beat up, and the girls fighting in the streets and the wigs coming off and the people, and it's us standing back filming it and posting it. It's us standing back filming the fights, and I'm talking about old women fighting each other. All women fighting each other, all men fighting each other, and knocking each other out in the streets and knocking each other out in the gas stations. Come on, y'all. As a people, we're
doing it for likes. They doing it for likes to get attention. It's like the more outrageous, the more viral. They were going for a viral moment that just really is not serving us at all.
That you said it. The moment. There we go again. The instant gratification. That just being noticed. But at the end of the day, when you go in that house and you sit by yourself with your jaw broken, your face all swollen, you know what I'm saying? What did it profit you?
Right.
How better off is your life? It's not. It's not. And can I tell you, social media has made it so hard right now. You got to get to 1 million viewers to start monetizing on anything. It's something we've lost generationally. We have lost the pride of being African American. We have lost the pride and the dignity that came with being a Black person. We have, and in the Black community, we've lost something.
It's because it's was perpetuated in the media, the entertainment. It's what they're seeing is influence, and it makes I agree with you.
Okay.
I see it too.
And the positive things, we don't see the Huxtables anymore. Somebody say, "Oh well, Bill Cosby." Tell you something. I don't. It's not about anybody's personal life. But what was on TV when you saw those things, when you saw Good Times, when you saw the Huxtables, when you seen Cosby, when you saw them shows that said as that we
even Martin and Gina Martin.
Yes, Martin Lawrence. You know, it's funny, we laugh, but there were some good principles.
They were working.
They were working community. People, they were working class people.
Relationships.
They were married couples. They were a married couple.
Yes.
We never knew where God was at, but he
where
had
Tommy worked.
Okay.
Where's Big Shirley?
Okay. Even Shanae had a purpose.
Come on now. She sure did. He was the security.
Shanae kept it real, okay?
But those shows definitely kept us connected. They kept the community tied together.
Absolutely. And we need Sanford and Son. Fred Sanford, he was a junk man.
Yep.
But he had a job. You know what I'm saying? He had a job. See, we've gotten too prideful and too arrogant and too boastful. I'm not going to pick up no junk. I'm not going to work as a garbage man. I'm not going to work on the trash trucks. That's below me. But you sleeping in your car. Yeah. You sleeping on somebody's couch.
Somebody that's probably working super hard. You laying on that couch while they going to a 9 to 5 and working hard.
And that's what I'm saying. Some of us got to learn when no is okay, that enough is enough, and you don't have to feel bad about your no. That's something that we've got to learn. We've got to not be afraid. Look, this is enough. Pack your stuff up. Get out of my house. Go get a job.
That's right.
Okay. I'm not going to go to work and I come home and you still in the same position that you were in when I left out of here. Okay. And the trash not out, the dishes not done, dinner's not cooked. You haven't done anything. You can only do that because eventually, guess what? It drains your energy. It drains all your positive vibes. It drains your desire to even help anybody else, because when you are used and you are depleted, it takes a long time for you to build back up again to want to give. And so I just want us as a community to really start tapping into some of the resources, some of the things that we can do to help each other. And I used to work for an organization called One Church, One Child. And One Church, One Child was an organization that dealt with foster care children. And their goal was to have every church in the United States adopt one child, one African-American child, one church, one child. Now, they could do more, but they asked that the church adopted the child so that it wasn't one particular family. As a result of that, when I went around speaking to the churches and telling them, here are the statistics on how many Black kids are in foster care, how many of them are getting ready to age out at 18, unprepared to face the world. If your church would just come together and just make sure that at Christmas time they have gifts, they have visits on their birthdays. When the holidays come and they close down the facilities and they tell all the kids they could go see their parents or whatever. Some of them didn't have parents to go home to. Then somebody in the congregation, let that child come to your house for that weekend, for Christmas, for Easter, for Thanksgiving. One church, one child. Make sure they had sneakers and shoes. And if they were in school, they had school books and backpacks and things of that nature. That organization is no longer in existence, but it was amazing to me how, as I traveled around the country talking to churches, back then we were so willing to help. And now even church has lost the sense of community.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
it has lost the sense of community. It's
Right.
how much money I can make as the preacher. And I'm a preacher, and I'm gonna talk about this. I'm a preacher. I'm a licensed ordained preacher, have been for 45 years. Okay. How much you gonna pay me to come preach for you? I need to fly first class. I need to stay in this style, this star of a hotel, and it's a little small ministry trying to just do the best that they can. And if you can't meet this, I'm not coming.
Yeah.
Dr. Henry, you came with the fire, ma'am. We just had a whole look. I didn't even want to. I'm sorry, I didn't even want to stop you in your track.
Go ahead.
Last episode, we did talk about faith. So the title of that episode, what was it, Angie?
Unchurched and unbothered.
Unchurched and unbothered. Why are people leaving the pews? And you are talking about a reason why people are leaving the pews.
Yep.
And can I acknowledge the fact that there are 3 generations on this podcast right now? There are 3 generations being present right now on this podcast. And I'm so grateful. I just have to mention that, ladies. I'm so grateful to be amongst you all. This wisdom, it is just beyond diamond wisdom here. So
needed. So needed.
Angie.
But we got to understand too that yes, there are 3 generations, which is awesome. But I'm going to speak to the older people, my generation that may be watching. We can never get to the point, and this ties into why some of the people are leaving the pews, because some young people right now are like, these old people, they think they know it all, and they don't, okay? Because we are not versed with the technology. We don't know the stuff that's going on today. Our form of education is different than today. We should always be in a position to be able to learn. See, that's another thing about community, being able to learn, to give and receive from each other, where you all give us the understanding of how the world is working today, the systems of today. If your generation can embrace the wisdom that we bring, and we tie wisdom and knowledge together, we would be a powerful people.
You have over 4 decades of mobilizing communities. Could you share how initiatives like Suitcases for Dignity and Hope for Homes have fostered a sense of unity and support among the community?
Absolutely. So Suitcases for Dignity started out because we had a young man in our ministry who is in foster care. I work with, as a consultant, I work with nonprofit organizations, for-profit organizations, and I work with a lot of foster care agencies and groups like that, foster care homes, group homes. And one thing I noticed when I was working at one of the agencies was that when these children came to foster care, they came with their belongings, however little or much, in trash bags, brown paper bags. And when they left the same way. Okay, that's a whole nother discussion about our foster care system and the failure, even among us as Black people that are running foster care and group homes. It's for money. It's not for the building of the young people. It's not preparing the young people to navigate this world, because at 18, in case you didn't know it, at 18, they opened the doors literally and say, okay, you're done. You're 18 and you're on your own. Here's a check for you to go ahead and do the best that you can, and we're done. Emotionally, psychologically, they're not there. And so Suitcases for Dignity was, let's make sure that these children, these young people, when they leave foster care, they have a suitcase, because a trash bag versus a suitcase brings a different dignity, which is where the name came from. It brings a sense of worth and value. It helps them to navigate the uncertainties of life with, even though it was just a suitcase on wheels, it wasn't just a suitcase. We put in the suitcase, they could put their clothes and their possessions in there, but when we gave them the suitcase, it came with toothbrush, toothpaste, washcloths, towel, sheet, the basic necessities, laundry detergent, bleach, We put a roll of quarters because they was going to have to go to the laundromat somewhere and do their laundry. We put in the basic necessities of what they were going to need, even if they moved into an apartment. These were the basic necessities that they were going to need in order to wake up the next morning and be able to take care of themselves.
Right.
A roll of toilet paper, paper towels. So it didn't all fit into a suitcase, but it was called Suitcases for Dignity. And that was so that when they walked out, there was an organization, our nonprofit organization was saying to them, regardless to where you've come from and regardless to the challenges that face you, go with pride, go with dignity, go with self-worth and know that you are valuable. You have something to bring to the table. Now, how do we mobilize the community on that? How many of us have suitcases because we buy the latest in the brand, and we have suitcases sitting in our attics, in our garages, in our closets, and they're just collecting dust. Nothing wrong with them. So we asked the community, we told the community about the program, we did a brochure, we put it out, we went on social media channels, and we said, hey, if you have a suitcase, and we asked that it would be on wheels, because some of these young people were going to be transient. They did not know where they were going. Okay. And so we did request that the suitcases that they donated would be on wheels. And we had people who they would drop the suitcases off. We went out as a nonprofit organization, used our 501c3 to purchase suitcases. We partnered with stores to give us discounts on suitcases, mobilize the community. Okay? Because these kids were going to be living probably on the streets right outside in the back of your store.
Right.
So let's do something to let them know that they are supported and and so we mobilize the community, not just churches, but the neighbors, other nonprofit organizations, other retail stores that gave us discounts on things. We had people ship them. We had people that drove up and said, I have suitcases. I have people now that still say, are you taking suitcases? We still are. And then we connected with the foster care agencies in our area to say, let us know whenever you have somebody that's aging out of foster care so we can make sure that they get a suitcase. So it's about building a network and letting people know what resources they have and that they can tap into the resources. That's one of the things we don't know. You can be the best cook in the world, but if people never taste your food and they don't know you a cook, how do they know? You have to promote yourself. You have to market yourself. You have to let people know what you're doing. So we did Suitcases for Dignity. We did the Parents' Night Out, which I talked about. We also did Hope for Homes. When we had our church down in St. Pete, one of our deacons lived at one of the shelters temporarily until his apartment was ready. And he became the man that everybody went and talked to. All the young people went and talked to Deacon Lee. Pray for me. I need counseling, whatever. And what did he do? He would call me and say, I got 5 people from the shelter that want to come to church. We sent the bus and picked them up. Okay. That's a whole nother story. I got a car dealership to give us a bus so that we could pick up community members and bring them to church. In Florida, you have to have a car. There's no public transportation, very little to none. And in the area where we live, there's no public transportation. The bus also wasn't about just picking up people to bring them to church, but we would see senior citizens in wheelchairs riding down the street in the rain. And if you know about Florida during the rainy season, it could pour down rain, and then this afternoon it's 80 degrees and sunny. Well, they're coming from Walmart with their umbrellas, trying to hold their groceries while they're trying to ride their little scooters home because access would drop them off, and sometimes it would take 2 or 3 hours before they would get back to pick them up. The bus would pick them up, take them grocery shopping, wait for them, put them back on the bus, and take them back home. I also designed a transportation system so that I'm from Philly, we became SEPTA. That was our bus system. Okay?
Transportation.
And so I drew a map, drove the route, and said, and from this time to this time, it takes 2 minutes from here to here. This is our first pickup stop. We're going to stop here. We're going to stop here. We're going to stop here. We're going to make a loop around the hospital, come back, ride around the other side. And so I did a loop because we only had one bus. And then the goal was to get multiple buses. So If they were going vertical, these were meeting them coming horizontal. I worked for a company where I did transportation and did all of that stuff. Okay. Wow. And so my years of experience, I've had all kinds of jobs. Don't be afraid to take jobs, because you never know where those jobs are going to end you up in your life. And all the jobs that I have led me to my purpose.
Amen.
Life, okay? Love y'all podcast name, okay? And yes, I am pretty. All right. So.
Yes. But you're more than just pretty, okay?
But, you know, sometimes we do things in life and it's like, oh, why am I doing this? This isn't even anything I want to do. God has a purpose. God has a plan. And all things will work together for the good of them that love the Lord. That's it. Okay? And so when it doesn't seem that it has meaningful, know that it's just a part of your process. And that if you just go through the process and walk the process through, in time it will reveal itself. Okay? And so our bus company is called Life Express, because we wanted to let people know we're here to take you to life. You need to get to school. You need to get to a doctor's appointment. If you need to go to court, if you whatever, Life Express was here for you. Now, because of the times that we were living in, we were not collecting money on the buses because we're a nonprofit organization. And then the city that I live in is very racist, and they did not want us to have a public transportation system.
Wow.
Listen, y'all, there's a way around everything. Talking about resourceful, there's a way where there's a will, there's always a way. So doing some research, I found out that if we charged, then we had to have a license, a PIN dot number, and all that stuff to say we were a real bus company. We weren't. So we found out that if we did not charge the people to ride the bus, it was just a service that our nonprofit offered. But how could we afford to pay for the bus, the gas, the insurance, the drivers, without charging anything? Well, I went back to my days in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, they had a thing called the Trans Pass. You can buy a pass for a day, a week, or a month. And when you bought the pass, if you bought it for a day, you can have unlimited rides on all the buses, wherever you had to go, connect and go where you had to go. And it was cheaper if you bought it for a whole week, and it was even cheaper if you bought it for the whole month, and you knew your transportation for the whole month was taken care of. The Lord said, do it just like in Philly. Sell them a pass, make it a donation to the nonprofit organization, give them the pass for the month, so that the donation levels was for one day, a $10 donation. So we gave them a pass that was worth $10, and we knew that color meant they was only able to ride this bus for one day. If it was for a week, we gave them a pass that was another color. That meant they paid to ride all week. If it was for a month, we gave them a pass that was another color. That meant they was able to ride all month. So why did we do that? In case any of the officials undercover wanted to get on our bus and see if we were charging anybody. We never collected a dime. You had to cash app us your money, or come to the church or the nonprofit and pay and pick up. Give us your donation. In exchange for your donation, we gave you this pass. And you used the pass to get on the bus.
Wow.
Angie.
She talks my language. She's definitely speaking my language. I love it. I just so much creativity and intuitiveness, and just like you said, just bringing all the resources together. And you went back to Philly. You went back from your experience and implemented that. And yeah, I tell Candace all the time, like I've had various different roles, but they absolutely, like Dr. Henry said, they build up this arsenal of resources that you get to tap into, as you need. And so they all have purpose. And speaking of which, Dr. Henry, I do want to take a moment to just say, I'm reading your bio, understand that we both have a lot in common. So I'm also a singer, songwriter, actress. We both have, throughout our life have been able to use those gifts towards, something meaningful. So I wanted to ask you if you wouldn't mind sharing with our audience how your passion for the arts has played a role in engaging the community, and also how the arts can continue to play a role as we mobilize and heal.
All right. I love it. I tell people my number one passion is really the performing arts. I have a character named Rozzy. If y'all look her up on TikTok and all that stuff. I had the nerve to invite Rozzy to Rita's, and they don't have no hot sauce. Nope. I'm out. This is your girl Rozzy, and I'm out on a Saturday night, and inquiring minds want to know. Shondo, I want it. Does anybody want me? I'm available. Okay. Hey. Rozzy, look, she off the chain. But I grew up in the church, and so I always tell people Jesus was to me one of the greatest actors and the greatest storytellers.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of the things that the disciples even asked him, how come you speak in parable? Parables were nothing but scripts to me. Okay. And if you understand, for all my artistic people out there, y'all understand and can follow this. He taught scripts. He acted out things so that, but where it was too deep with the thou and the thithers and the whithersoevers and all of that stuff, Jesus was like, let me give y'all some practical stuff. Let me just do some stuff so that I can show you in a performance type manner what I mean by what I'm saying. Okay. And so the Bible are nothing but scripts to me. So coming up in the church, it was all about scripts that were for everyday life. It's not that these were not scripts to convert people or make you get saved. No, these were scripts about everyday principles. Yep. Okay. And so in the performing arts in the church, of course, we were singers. All my family were musicians and everything. And I found out that sometimes we have a hard time facing the reality of ourselves when you come head on with it with me. But if I see myself up on a stage, it's more palatable. And I can identify with the character and say, ooh, that's me. Ooh, that's my story. And where I'm afraid to tell my story, sometimes on stage, it can tell stories to help liberate people.
Yes.
So I've always been a writer. I got in trouble for writing because I would write before my time. They used to hire me when I was 9 and 10 and 11 years old. 15, 16, 17-year-olds would hire me to write Valentine's Day poems to their boyfriend and girlfriends because I could write so well. I got many beatings at home because I was too mature. You're trying to be grown and you're smelling yourself. My parents really didn't even understand that I was anointed and gifted. That's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Sometimes we beat our kids and we chastise them and tell them, stay in your place, you're too grown. No, but you don't understand. It's the hand of God that gave us the talent and the gift. It just has to be cultivated in the right way. Whole nother conversation. So I've done arts and theater all my life, and I wrote stories about realistic situations. My clock is singing, my Savior God, to thee. It sings every hour. Oh. How great thou art. Woo! How great thou art. I got to get my praise.
Beautiful voice. Oh, y'all just got a treat.
And so in Pittsburgh, I opened up a performing arts theater because it was nothing but young Black drug dealers on the corner, because that's all they knew to do. If you knew about Pittsburgh in those little areas, it wasn't jobs. It was nothing. Those are those areas that we call the forgotten areas. They put us down there, and there's no grocery stores. We bought the building. We bought the parsonage next to the building. And I said, you know what, we're going to turn this into a performing arts theater, because I'm going to tell you, theater is a multi-billion-dollar industry if you can tap into it. So it wasn't that I just started a theater. Yes, I wanted to write my own plays. Yes, I wanted to write my own content. Yes, I write my own songs. Yes, I write my own music. I don't use anybody's stuff, because we have enough in our own lives that you can write your own productions with. And so I wanted to teach young people, and I had all kind of classes in all ages, how to write your story and put it on stage. So it was a class. How to use your authentic voice to tell it from your perspective and then put it on stage. So in the performing arts theater, connecting the community together, we had volunteers that came to work the lights, to work as ushers, to give them something to do, senior citizens to get out of the house, because at dark time they were scared to come out. They didn't have anywhere to go, but here was some place for them to go. The other thing is that I'm all about making sure that if I eat, everybody eats. So in my performing arts theater, I taught everything from lighting to front of the house, back of the house management. These were classes that you went through. Sound, set design, stage designing. We taught them about hospitality, running the concession. So they needed to learn marketing. Do you know that there is not an industry that is not touched that you can get a job in if you will come through the performing arts theater?
Yep.
Marketing, advertisement, hospitality, food. Yep. So that means learning about nutrition, learning about how to handle food. You can go get your safe serve to handle the concessions. You know about merchandise. You know about marketing. You know about customer service. You know you working in the ticket booth. So we're touching you in math. I always believe that you can use theater as a backdoor to get them to learn how to do stuff that they didn't like to do. Because if you didn't like math, but you wanted to work in the ticket booth, guess what? You were learning how to count money.
That's right.
You were learning how to balance the books at the end of the night. So there's always a way. And then because we sold tickets, everybody who worked for us received a cut of what was made after the expenses.
Wow. That's it. That's it.
We had one pot. We all ate from the same pot. There's a scripture in Acts chapter 2, verse 44 and 45 that says, the people all came together. There was one big table, and everybody came and brought what they had and put it on the table. And once they put it on the table, the people were able to come back to that same table and get off the table what they needed. And the Bible says that the people had all things common. So it didn't matter whether you bought 1,000 and I bought $5. We were all equal. We bought what we had to benefit the community. Yes. And then I came back because I didn't need money. I needed my pants hemmed. I didn't need to know how to cook. I needed somebody to do my hair. Right. I don't need you to teach me how to balance my books, but I need you to help my child learn how to read. You see what I'm saying? Yes. And so when I took off the table what I needed, the Bible says that they all walked away and nobody wanted for anything. That's a principle that I live by. Even when I did the performing arts theater, I did a one-woman show with a comedian. She had never been on stage before, always wanted to do it. And I love finding hidden talent, okay? I'm getting ready to audition for an actress to do a play that I wrote called Distorted Love. I need one more actress to do it so I can get this play launched. Wow. She never been on stage before, wanted to get on stage. And can I tell you, I'm real unique. I do stuff real different. Like, you can go to the store and get the orchestra seats. And then those seats cost like $25 or $35 back then. And then we had the $20 seats. And then we had the seats in the back of the theater that we only charged $5 or $10 for people to come in. But we had this beautiful balcony that wrapped around the entire theater up on the second floor. Okay, so I had the vision. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to sell them seats for a whole lot more money. But when the people buy those tickets to sit up on that section, they're going to have their own concierge who's going to come around at intermission and take their orders and say, what would you like? Because in their ticket sales was their concessions to pay for their sodas, their candy. And here was the list of what they could get. And they could check off one thing from beverage, one thing from snacks, one thing from snacks. And the ushers took their orders, walked down the steps, got the orders, and brought it back to them. They never had to leave their seats.
Wow.
Okay. After she did her show, and she came next door to my house to get her money. See, this is the other thing where we go wrong. When you make a promise to somebody, keep your word.
That's right.
Okay. I said to her, you're going to get this percentage of the ticket sales. We sold. When she came and got her check, she looked at her check and she said, what is this for? I said, this is your percentage of the tickets that we sold. She cried and said, oh my God, I've never made this kind of money before on the show that I did, a one-woman show. Okay. Wow. She now is really out there doing it and everything. She's like, thank you, because you pushed me out of my comfort zone. People they started calling her to come to their women's things and all of that because I gave her an opportunity, saw in her what she didn't see, believed in what she didn't believe, and then paid her. Yes. Paid her as we committed to do. So the community can come together because as a part of that with kids, we went and had kids. We put the little disposable cameras and put cameras in all the children's hand and said, go out and take pictures of what your life looks like. And what you want your life to look like. Okay, so we were introducing them to the world, not just the performing arts, but the world of photography. Tell your story through your pictures. This is where I am right now, but this is where I hope to be. And you know what? When I look at vision boards for today, I said, oh, I was doing that years ago with cameras. Tell me where your story is at and tell me where you want to be. Everything is an evolution. There's nothing new under the sun. It just comes back again in another format.
That's right.
It's just a different method, but it's nothing new under the sun. It all comes back full circle. So if you're interested in classes, we do classes online. I do vocal training. I've had vocal training, and I've graduated classes and classes of people taking vocal training. We do everything around the performing arts because it's all about getting your authentic story out on the stage. And then not only that, teaching people skill sets that they can go to any theater and they can work at any theater and get a job. And from our little community nonprofit theater run by community people. There's so many ways that we can come together as a community, connect, make money, get our stories out, keep our rights.
Absolutely.
Okay, keep our rights.
Yep.
Band together and protect one another, because as this segment is called, nobody's going to come do it for us.
That's right.
We've got to do it ourselves.
That's it. And look, let me ask you this. What is one most significant obstacle to community mobilization, and how have you navigated this one issue?
The biggest obstacle that honestly that I faced in mobilizing the community is that members of the community have very low to no self-esteem.
Wow.
That has been one of the biggest. I don't think can. We say no quicker than we say yes. Oh, I don't have the skills. I don't have the education. I've never done that before. We get into, I did a session called comfort zones that become comfort traps.
Ooh.
I'm comfortable doing nothing. It's that face splattered to the window, like, oh, I wish I can do that. Well, you can. If you have some belief in yourself. So what if you falter? So what if you fall? So what if it doesn't turn out the first time the way you thought it was supposed to? Get yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep pushing. Keep trying. Because eventually it's going to happen. What is going to happen? Hey, Sarah, whatever will be. I'm just going to keep pushing, because I'm not going to sit here and die. When I can do something. And so the low self-esteem, the lack of belief in our own selves as a people to accomplish it, because we let all these exterior voices and exterior things say that we can or can't. You don't have to have money. You need connections. You don't have to have the biggest degrees. It's truly not what you know, it's who you know.
I don't have to know it all. I need to connect with you who know how to do podcasts because I want to do a podcast. So I don't need to go learn about podcasts. I can call. And if you have a heart to be my sister and help me, you're going to be like, Dr. Henry, I got you.
Yeah.
But here's another problem. We say I got you, but then we never show up. We have to stop making promises.
Or we got an invoice.
Okay.
You said or an invoice?
Yes. And I'm gonna just say, I have been approached by people about sharing, knowledge. Like Candace and I, we haven't really taken any courses. We've literally have kind of built up our own blueprint. We're still learning, trial and error. And I have lent my expertise to someone without charging anything. At the end of the day, it's like, that was a gift. You know what I'm saying? God bless me to be able to do this. I don't mind sharing. I really, it bothers me to see so many of us selling knowledge when it's like, if that is our power and we have to empower ourselves, then why are we creating barriers for people to access that information?
Exactly.
Because the more that know, the more can contribute and build and share. And so that, I don't know, the internet, I think the era of the internet has definitely encouraged that type of business model, if you will. But that's not mobilizing. That's not community. That's customer client relationship. And that's just, to me, it's very transactional.
And we stop believing also in the law of reciprocity. The law of reciprocity says, if you give, it shall be given unto you. Amen. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over.
Amen.
So I'm going to give to you because there are still good-minded, good-hearted, like-minded people who say, you know what, Angie, 5 years ago, you showed me how to do this podcast. Girl, I really made it, but I wouldn't have made it because of you. And then you go in the mailbox and there's a check in the mail. See, it's that instant gratification that we're looking for instead of, and see that again, talk about an obstacle because again, the envelope is always pushed. And because I'm going to just say it, because we are so needy as Black people, we always feel as though we have to push that envelope. Yeah. If we would come together as a community, our communities wouldn't be so needy.
Woo, that's a word. Wait. That's a word right there.
Wait.
Dr. Henry.
Wait a minute. Repeat that one more time.
We are so needy as a community, but if we would come, if you do hair, why does any Black person's hair has to look bad? If you can sew, why are they walking around with holes and zippers missing, button missing? If you can sew. If you can cook, why is anybody hungry? If you are a mechanic and know how to change oil and fix a tire or put in, you understand why our cars broke down in the Black community? If you are a man or woman with a auctioneer's license and you can go buy 1 million cars from the auction, why are Black people without cars in communities where there are no public transportation and we can't get to the polls to go and vote because we don't have ways to get there? But you got a license to go to the auction and get cars and can say, I'm going to put these 5 vans in this community right here, so at election day, when you don't have a way to get there, we're going to pick you up and make sure you go vote.
That's right.
But we got to put a price tag on every car. And I don't care if you did put a price tag on there. If you went to the auction and bought that van for $200, why are you charging me $5,000?
Right.
If you bought the van from the auction for $400, why are you charging me $8,000 for a van? Because you paid for the auctioneer license.
Yeah.
But why don't we help each other? And that's one of the obstacles. We don't like helping anymore. We don't want to help. We don't want to. It's all about it's all about, we are the most selfish, me, I. And guess what? I is not getting us anywhere. We will always get there. We shall overcome. I never heard I shall overcome. I never heard that song. I heard we shall overcome. We shall overcome one day. We shall overcome. Rosa did not get up from that seat, not because of her. She looked at the community.
That's right.
Harriet Tubman went and put her life on the line to drink off of that white only fountain because she was looking at the generations to come.
Yep.
Those people sat at that lunch counter and took beatings, not for themselves.
Being spit on.
Not to get beat. They took it for us, for the community. You talk about take one for the team. How about we take one for the community?
Yeah.
We get apartment complexes, and yes, we know you got to pay for the land and you got to pay to build it and all that kind of stuff. But do you have to do what other cultures are doing and charge your people that much rent so that you can benefit profit-wise this particular margin? So I'd rather let you be homeless because I'm only going to deal with people to help me reach this profit margin. I'm all about the coins. I'm all about the money. I'm all about making your paper. But at some point in time, it has to be about community. It has to be about the people. It has to be about, but for the grace of God, there go I. Yeah. It has to be about remembering when I did not have and somebody else sacrificed for me. Yep. And I have a responsibility and an obligation to give back to my community.
That's right. And I want to say, you made a great point when you said, as far as the I and the we, it goes back to what you said earlier about we're so selfish. Another thing that we face, in addition to being selfish, right, is just not thinking outside of our own needs. So I wanted to ask you, how do we approach building cooperation in so many diverse communities? Like even within the Black community per se, there are different other issues that we have faced that have been, they're sensitive, but they create division. And I'll name some of them. One of them being colorism within the Black community keeps people divided. Socioeconomic status and educational, levels keep people divided. And last but not least, the LGBTQ community. With all of these diverse sub communities, if you will, how do we get over that? How do we bridge the gap between those differences?
See, I think out the box. I'm an out of the box kind of thinker. Okay. So let's talk about the communities that you talked about. If you are LGBTQXYZ, QRSTUV, I don't care what you are. If you are a part of that community, God bless you. Live your life, live your best life. So as a community, if y'all could just follow this for me, because I really think
we're gonna let you cook. Let her cook. Come on, cook, Dr. Henry.
If we have an issue as a community, a Black culture community, and it's an issue, because we have different viewpoints and perspectives, let's do this. All my LGBTQ people, first of all, we're going to talk about here is the problem. Now, your group, go brainstorm how we can fix it. You smart intellects, take that same problem and tell us, y'all brainstorm how we can fix it. Mm-hmm. Whatever level you're on, get with your people that are in your group, like-minded in your geographical, educational, financial, and then bring the spokespersons of those groups together to say, here's the problem we were all trying to come up with a solution with. From the LGBTQ, I know I'm not saying it right. Y'all excuse me, I'm not being funny about it, but but from that community, here's what we saw. I guarantee you, if we did that, we will find out, regardless to all of our different places we are in the world, we are more alike than we are different.
Yeah.
I can't see it from your perspective because I'm not walking in your shoes. You can't see it from an educator's perspective because you don't have the degrees that I have. I can't see it from a wealthy person's perspective because I don't walk in the coins that you have. So if all of our different perspectives will come together and we all tackle in the same problem, we would be able to come up with a blueprint that would address the problem and solve the problem. And guess what? Nobody would be excluded because everybody had input. We used to call it back in the day corporate buy-in. So nobody was left out because every group had an opportunity to get with their own people to tackle the same problem. And so there was something in it for them. It was something in it for the wealthy. It was something in it for the
uneducated. It was something in it for you see what I'm saying?
I do. And I want to say I love that approach. And like you said, as far as that makes sense, you have somebody that actually understands the actual needs. But my question to you, Dr. Henry, is because these different subcultures or subcommunities exist, what if the problem is just us communicating, just us communing with one another? And I think, to me personally, I think as far as colorism within our community, it keeps us from coming together, leveraging one another's resources, building the community, just communicating. I think those biases that we have about people of different backgrounds, of maybe you aren't saved, you might not be Christian, you might got different religion, those type of differences. How can we address the division that exists because of our differences?
We have to look at the greater cause. In these kind of situations, we can't look at us. It's not about my color. It's the focus is the cause. The focus is we got to fix the problem. I don't care if you light skinned and got long hair, dark skin and a big nose. That's not the issue. When we put our personal issues aside, colorism, sexism, education, when we put all of that aside and we're dealing with how do we deal with lack of housing among the Black community. That had nothing to do with your color, how light skinned you are, how dark skinned you are, how big your nose is, whether you got locks or a perm. That's not the issue. We are majoring on the minors instead of majoring on what the issue is. Now here, let me say this too. With every generation, just like where we are right now, there has to be the sacrificial lambs.
Yeah.
Somebody from each one of those places, areas have got to be the one that will step up. So now we see truly a Black melting pot. Can I say it like that? We say American melting pot. We need to see a Black cultural melting pot. Amen. Light skin, dark skin, rich, poor, gay, straight, saved, not saved, atheist, Buddhist. Come on, it's not about that's my personal preference. Housing is a systemic issue.
Yep.
And Black is without house. Light skin don't have a house. Dark skin don't have houses. Gay don't have houses. Saints don't have houses. Sinners don't have houses.
Come on.
Buddhists don't have houses. Hare Krishnas don't. I don't care what all that personal stuff is. The end of the day is we need housing.
Yes.
See, again, if we would get our focus on the right thing. I'm not going to live in your house. If you gay, lesbian, homosexual, I'm not living in your house. But guess what? My brother and sister won't be on the street. Their personal life is their personal life. We are addressing the issue. That's where we're failing. Yep. We're getting too caught up in people's personal lives. Now, hear this from a preacher, because I'm a different kind of preacher too. Because Jesus wasn't even about all of that. If you really read the word of God, we misinterpret the scriptures and misinterpret the love of God. He said, look, I came and died for the sin of the world, that whosoever will, let him come.
Amen.
He didn't put no stipulations on, you can't be gay, you can't be this, you can't be that, you can't. He said, I came to help you. Whatever your issues are, I came to help you if you want it. He didn't even make you want it. It's up to you if you want it. Yeah. So if we would stop getting into all of this, okay, and let's look at the issues. We're jobless. More of us can hire. We don't support each other's businesses. We should support Black businesses.
Yes.
We should start more industry. We should start doing our own stuff. I am sick and tired. Excuse me if I'm going to use this language just like this very nicely. I'm sick and tired of us being the first ones that will hit the button on TikTok and buy everybody else's product instead of us making our own product and letting them buy them from us. I'm sick and tired of us buying everybody else's how to do real estate, and it ain't never our color selling these classes, but you know how to do it, but you won't create a class, and if you do, you charge astronomical amounts of money,
instead of forming a partnership to say, let me take you under my wing, mentor you all, help you do it. And then once you become successful, because I'm going to make sure you become successful with this little clause right here, clause in the contract right here.
That's right.
As soon as you make X amount of dollars, you are going to pay me this percentage. Well, guess what? I'm going to make sure you're successful because I'm going to get my coin.
Dr. Henry, from your vast experience, what advice would you give to someone starting out in community mobilization, particularly in these challenging times?
First of all, be ready to go it alone. Because nobody can fail you if you by yourself.
Ooh, you better preach.
Okay?
Preach!
You will be the only one to let yourself down. If it doesn't get done, you can't blame anybody but you. If it doesn't happen, it's nobody's fault but yours. So we take away all of that. Well, this one didn't show up. And I didn't. No. Know your purpose. Know that it's a calling. Know that God called you to do it. Know that it's something in your spirit. It's something that there's a drive. There's a passion. There's something that's pushing you to do a thing. And be okay if you have to do it initially by yourself. Okay? So when you start doing it, stay the course. Stay the course. Doors shutting your face, stay the course. If that group didn't receive you, stay the course. Because guess what? If it is divinely appointed for you to do a thing, eventually, when you knocked on enough doors, one's going to open.
Yes.
If you go to enough meetings, somebody's going to hear you.
Yes.
If you sometimes we have a problem with just showing up.
Whew.
Show up. And show up with expectation. I expect that look, any content, any dreamer, any believer, any person who has a purpose, a dream, a vision, we know we did not give it to ourselves. Right. We did not sit down and say, I want to do, because anybody want to do all this work we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody trying to stay up all night, edit podcasts, look, music behind it, cutting and pasting, not even knowing whether anybody's going to watch the podcast. Mm-hmm. But it's driving you. There's something in you that's driving you to do it. And so if you keep going and letting that thing push you and drive and push you, guess what? It's going to start off small, but anything great always starts off at the beginning. And the beginning is one person who had a vision, who had a dream, who had a motivation and a drive, and he never quit.
Amen. That starting point has to be solid. I talk to Candace about this all the time. I'm like, not everybody gets the opportunity to get the insight about my life and my journey. I am sharing it through the podcast, but on a personal level, I've shared with her many trials and tribulations that I've had and how I was able to just continue to stay focused on the vision and the mission. And that's why I have no worries. I'm not concerned about the success of the podcast. For me, the success is measured and will be defined by how many people's lives are changed, how many people will be informed and motivated to do something with their life. That for me is the reward. Like you were saying earlier, I love a coin too. But one thing that I do know is that money is always around us all the time. But are you willing to compromise your integrity, your foundation? Because people will allow that, the money to prevent them from actually creating a solid, secure foundation. And then when whatever doesn't work out, they don't have anything solid to land on. So my thing is just really, again, letting that purpose drive you. It can't be about money because money comes, money goes, it's always around. But as long as you have that deeper meaning, it's not going to matter what other people think initially when you get started. You may not have the numbers of the following. I personally cannot let that deter me. And I speak from a perspective of if I didn't have popularity at some point in my life and I didn't know that it really isn't all people make it out to be, I wouldn't be so confident in driving this podcast in such a way that's like very intentional and at a pace that might not be for everybody. People might not understand or get it, but I know the goal is we're building a solid foundation so it cannot be pulled. The rug cannot be pulled from what the efforts that we're pouring into this podcast, the intentionality as far as who we're bringing on, all of that is really faith in action, actually.
Mhm.
That's what it is. It's faith in action.
And when you chase money, that doesn't mean you're chasing purpose. I believe when you chase your purpose and you go after your destiny, money will follow. And scripturally, if you believe in the scriptures, he always supplies the need. He always supplies the resources. He always provides the provision for the vision. Where there is no vision, people perish. So money is
Make it plain.
Okay, money is not a vision. Anybody can get money. Money's not a vision. Vision is, I see something that probably nobody else is seeing. It doesn't exist yet. It hasn't happened yet. But by faith and confidence in my abilities, the skills, the talents, the drive, the passion that I have, I'm going to pursue that thing. And when it's for the good of the people, when it's for the good of the community, God, the universe, the higher power, whatever you want to call it, will step in. And guess what? It will be your energy. It'll be your win. It will be the pat on your back that you need, because you'll find yourself waking up when everything. Listen, you know when a person is following purpose, because when everything failed that day before, they still get up, get dressed, beat their face, put their hair on, put their earrings on, put their pants on, their best shoes, and they go out there and they do it all over again.
Yep.
When you chase money and you get it, you're chasing greed, because money is not always purposeful. Does not always, it satisfies you, but when you're selfish, it doesn't satisfy anything else for anybody else. Purpose is always about people.
Amen. Woo! Oh, I love that.
Okay?
I love that.
Always about
that right there. That was it. We can wrap the episode up. That was it right there. I love that. Wow. Dr. Henry, we're gonna have to make a post with just your face and that quote. That is a quote from Dr. Charlene Henry, one that we should not forget. I mean, wow, very profound. And it really summarizes what this conversation was really about. And at this time, Dr. Henry, what we're going to do is we're going to move into our engagement part of our episode, which is the Purpose Pulse segment. So what we do, Dr. Henry, we have this wheel that is full of all these different prompts, but they're all tied to purpose. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, spin the wheel, and then we would love to hear what is driving your purpose. So right, here we go.
I love this. It's full of purpose. And the winner is...
Ooh, you gonna love this one. All right. Oh, which fictional character is unknowingly living your purpose?
This character, of course, is a character from way back, before a lot of probably younger people's time, and it's Betty Boop.
Ooh. Tell us more. I love me some Betty Boop.
That's why I said Betty Boop. First of all, they portray Betty Boop as this white character. Originally, Betty Boop was a black woman. Okay, do your history, do your research. Betty Boop was a black character. Of course, they didn't want us to have anything back then. And Betty Boop was pretty. Betty Boop was talented. Betty Boop was sexy. Betty Boop represented the black community in a time when black communities, because in back then for our theatrical people, you know, they mimicked us by putting on black faces, what they called it, because you want to be us, but you don't want us.
Yeah.
Okay. So Betty Boop is living. She was artistic. She was sexy. She was pretty. She was self-reliant. She was talented.
And she also had purpose because
left
of
a
who she
lasting
was.
legacy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Had a purpose. The creator of that had a purpose. And even to today, we know about Miss Betty Boop.
That's right. Wow. I love that.
What upcoming events or initiatives do you want our audience to know about?
Well, first of all, I am open to coming to your youth, women's conferences. I am a consultant. That is my business. I help nonprofit organizations. I help people start their nonprofit organizations. I do 1023s to help people get their nonprofit statuses. I talk to churches to help them understand why do they need a 501c3 to start a community development program in their communities. So I do a lot of consultation with them. If you're interested in having me come to speak, and let me say this, I don't put an invoice out there, and I know this is me. I can only be authentic to who God told me to be. And so if you think, well, I can't afford Dr. Henry, she has all these degrees, don't let all of that spur you from reaching out to me, because I'm all about people and I'm all about community. The only thing I ask is that if I have to fly, if I can drive within a certain amount of time, I will drive to you. The only thing I ask is that if I have to stay overnight, put me in a decent hotel. Don't have to be first class. Make sure, I used to say you had hot sauce, but I travel with my own hot sauce and my own barbecue sauce because I have my own barbecue line now. It's actually Rozzy's barbecue sauce. Rozzy's barbecue sauce. I sell it. I ship it all over the United States. People are buying it. People have put out commercials cooking their food using my Rozzy's barbecue sauce.
Rozzy has her own barbecue sauce.
Rozzy has her own barbecue sauce line. She does a blueberry mild or hot, a mango mild or hot, a pineapple mild or hot, and it is wonderful. People who have bought it are now filming them cooking their foods and using Rozzy's barbecue and showing Rozzy's barbecue sauce bottle on their YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram commercials and shorts and everything. So that's going well. In addition to that, I do public speaking. So if you need me to come, please just reach out to me. You can call me at 412-294-2658. You can reach me directly at that number, 412-294-2658. You can email me at iam.drcharlanehenry@gmail.com. Just email me and say, hey, Doc, I need you to come. I'm having this. Can you come? I speak at any type of event, whether it's church, not church, corporate, not corporate. My master's degree is in training and development. I train trainers. I write curriculums. So you can come and say, hey, I want to run a program, but I don't have a curriculum. I don't know. I will sit down and find out your vision and give me what to write for you and create a program for you. And my fees are very minimum. Okay, I'm not about chasing the money. I just don't want to have an expense. That's all.
Okay, so before we go, Purposeful Family, we do have a few takeaways that we want to share or leave you with. Collective action is essential. In the face of political dysfunction and systemic injustice, healing and progress can only happen when communities come together with shared purpose and accountability.
Absolutely. And another one is faith in action. Dr. Henry reminded us that spiritual leadership is not just about the pulpit. It's about being present in the community, meeting real needs, and building trust through service.
That's it. We already have what we need. Instead of waiting for others to rescue us, now is the time to leverage existing resources. Hence, Dr. Henry mentioned several, okay, relationships. Now is the time to leverage the existing resources, relationships, and our lived experiences to uplift one another and mobilize change.
Absolutely. And y'all, believe it or not, healing is an effective strategy. So building stronger community begins when we start to address our traumas, start to express empathy for our brothers and sisters that might have a different lived experience than we have, and just making space for both grief and growth.
Oh man. And lastly, purpose has power. Each one of us has a unique purpose. And Dr. Henry, Angie, we definitely shared that in this episode. We each have a role to play. When we walk in purpose and when we align with that, we become a radical force, a powerful force.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So at this time, we're going to bring Dr. Henry back up. And again, we want to thank everybody for joining. Thank you again, Dr. Henry, for spending time with us. Open up your heart and your mind with us and sharing all of the wisdom and insights that you've given us. This was such a powerful episode, and I'm pretty sure our Purposeful family will appreciate everything, all the wisdom and gems that you dropped, because there were many. There were many.
So I definitely want to remind our audience, like, subscribe, share this episode. Now, I know for a fact you got something out of this episode. Be on the lookout for the shorts so you can actually give little mini samples to your friends and family. There is no excuse as to why we can't empower our communities. Gosh, this has blessed me, and I'm excited. I know this has planted a seed, and I'm ready to see it blossom in somebody's life. It's blossoming in mine.
Amen. You guys, we are at episode 3. Episode 4, we have another awesome person who will be joining us. So episode 4 is going to be redefining success, what that looks like, hard work compared to this scammer lifestyle that's out here, fast lane. It's not where it is, you guys. And so we're bringing someone on next week who's going to share their experience with us. And before we get out of here, as always, remember, it's okay to be pretty,
but even better to be
pretty purposeful.